Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Ken with Mid-Level Media, and we're back again for another 4K review. It's been a while since I think I've done a standalone 4K review. I think Major League was the last one, but today we're going to be looking at The Departed on 4K, Martin Scorsese film. I have this nice Steelbook right here, which, let me get this out of the way, guys. I've come out and said that Mark Wahlberg deserved to be on this Steelbook, but somebody messaged me on Instagram, I think a week or so ago, and they gave me a very good reason as to why he's not on the front cover of the Steelbook. I'm not going to say what that reason is because it's kind of a spoiler, and I don't, even though this is almost a 20-year-old movie, I don't aim to spoil The Departed. I keep wanting to say The Departed. It's The Departed, or you can say The Departed if you're up in the northeastern area. But anyway, it was a good reason, and I was like, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense, and I am good with Mark Wahlberg not being on the cover of this Steelbook anymore. So I'm not going to bring that up anymore this video, but yeah, we're going to talk about the 4K picture quality here. There is a slipcover option as well here, and I've come out recently against Steelbooks. I don't love Steelbooks, but when it comes down to it, guys, I still like to collect them, and if I like the Steelbook better than the slipcover, I will get the Steelbook. So I put in to get this Steelbook instead of the slipcover version. I just didn't like the white cover. I didn't think it looked great. But if you are into slipcovers, you get that option at least. Like I said, guys, we want our options. Unlike another Scorsese film that comes out this summer on 4K, Taxi Driver, we can only get the Steelbook of that. But at least with The Departed, we have the Steelbook and the slipcover option from Warner Brothers. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the picture quality. I like to talk about the movie itself a little bit also as well, guys. So we'll get into that. We'll do an unboxing of this nice Steelbook from Warner Brothers, and then I'll talk about the audio and the special features. There was actually a surprise when it comes to the special features that I'm excited to get into with that one. So yeah, look, before we get into it though, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about physical media on this channel in case you haven't figured it out. Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. If you like that kind of thing, hit that subscribe button. Also, leave me a comment down below if you're a fan of The Departed. Is this your favorite Scorsese film? Let me know. Are you going to purchase this 4K? I will be leaving links down below, guys. You can get this Steelbook off of Amazon. It's not just a Walmart exclusive, Amazon exclusive. It's certainly not a Best Buy exclusive. But you can get this off of Amazon. You can get this anywhere. I think on groove.com as well. It's available. But I'll leave my Amazon links down below, guys, for the Steelbook version and the slipcover version of The Departed. So, okay, guys, I've rambled long enough. Let's get into talking about the film itself. So I want to get this out of the way, guys. And look, movie opinions, everybody's got them, right? They're like a-hole. So don't be so offended with mine because I say stuff sometimes and I mean what I say, but I don't like to ruffle people's feathers, but I seem to. So let me get this out of the way first. I don't love this movie. I like it. I think it's a good movie. It's an entertaining movie. It is not my favorite Scorsese film, and that is a very unpopular opinion because a lot of people love this movie. A lot of people would say this is their favorite Scorsese film, and I get it. When I first saw this, I watched this back in 2006 when it came out, and it was probably, honestly, like one of the first Scorsese movies that I watched, or at least I knew I was watching at the time, and it did blow my mind. Like the ending of this film, all the twists and the turns, like I just thought it was incredible. I've watched it a few times since then, and every time I watch it, it just kind of goes down a little bit for me. It's almost like you know what happens, and that just takes it all. That just takes everything away from this movie. When you know what happens, all the twists and the turns, everything else in this film, it feels extremely formulaic and extremely generic. I will say, watching it this time though, I kind of just let all that stuff go and just tried to enjoy it for what it was. I really enjoyed Jack Nicholson in this character. He is almost like a cartoon character, though, I will say. I wish because at times he's very menacing, he's very threatening, and I like him as I guess you would call him the quote-unquote villain of this movie, if you want to call him that. But I really like certain aspects of his performance and some of the things that he does and some of the scenes that he has with Matt Damon, with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like I think there's some extremely tense sequences. And then in the other scenes, he's just like a complete cartoon character, and he's making jokes. He's turning around in a porno theater and whipping out like a fake dildo, and it's just some stuff he does in this movie is completely ridiculous. But on the other hand, he's very serious and very threatening. So it's almost like when he does those goofier scenes, it's hard to take him seriously in some of the more threatening sequences. So that kind of takes away from his character a little bit. But I think Jack Nicholson he's a legend, obviously. As I'm filming this, it's his 87th birthday. So happy birthday to Jack Nicholson. He's an icon. And to be honest, at this point, he can do no wrong. He's had so many great performances in his career, and this is definitely another one of them. It's just certain like choices with his character in this movie I'm not completely on board for. Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie and Matt Damon, I don't think are super entertaining. I think they're pretty bland, generic characters throughout, and they're pretty much playing the exact same character, but from different like points of view. So I think that Leonardo DiCaprio has a little bit more nuance to his character as the film progresses, but Matt Damon really doesn't have any arc in this film at all, I feel like watching it. And I don't feel like his character has any sort of progression, so he's not interesting to watch in the movie. And then you got Mark Wahlberg, my guy Mark Wahlberg. I think Mark is super entertaining in this movie. I think he steals every scene that he's in. The only problem is he's not in a ton of scenes, but I love him in this movie. I love Martin Sheen in this movie. I think he's fantastic in the film as well. Alec Baldwin, I know that's kind of not a great name to talk about nowadays, but I think he's really good in the movie as well. But yeah, everybody in this movie is good. Like even Leo and Matt, who I don't love in this film, are giving really good performances. Like they're still good at what they do. I'm just not interested in their characters. Vera Farmiga as well, like she's pretty one note as well as a character. And they try this like love triangle thing with Matt and Leo, and to me, it doesn't work at all. She just comes off like she's playing both of them and pretty unlikable, if I'm being honest. Like her character is extremely unlikable in this film, but there are some really good moments in this movie, some great twists and turns. Like I said, I think it's very well directed, very well edited. Of course, it's a Scorsese film, so you can expect that. One interesting thing I was thinking about though, when I was thinking about all the performances and all the big stars that were in this movie, is exactly 9 years earlier, every single big actor in this film was in a breakout role for them in their respective careers. You have Matt Damon, and I'm talking about 1997. You have Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio in 1997. Matt Damon had Good Will Hunting. Jack Nicholson had a little bit of a career resurgence with As Good as It Gets. And Mark Wahlberg had Boogie Nights. So 9 years before this movie came out, each one of the stars of this film had these like breakout performances in their careers. And I thought that was kind of interesting when I was thinking about it. But anyway, guys, I don't want anybody to hate me because I don't love The Departed, but I like it. I think it's a good movie, but I will never understand why people hold this one up like they do. And I think a lot of it is nostalgia and just when it came out, and it came out at just the right time. And I think a lot of people loved it when it came out, and I was certainly on that hype train as well. But I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. And there are Scorsese films that I like far more than this, and I think stand the test of time way more than this film does. So let's go ahead and jump into the 4K picture quality here. This is actually an upscaled 4K, and I'm not exactly sure why they decided to upscale this and not do a native restoration, because this was shot on film. This was shot on 35 millimeter, but this is an upscaled 4K. Now, I will say that the 4K remaster did have Thelma Schoonmaker involved, which is Martin Scorsese's longtime collaborator and editor. So she was involved in the restoration here. And Warner Brothers also used MPI, which is motion picture imaging, to handle the restoration of this. So they don't always let you know the information about who's doing the restoration, but on the press release for this, they did. And I do have this Blu-ray here from, I believe, 2007. This was a very early Blu-ray. So I popped this in just to get a little bit of perspective on how the 4K compared. And what I can tell you is the Blu-ray was actually pretty good for its time. Like, it got high marks back when it came out, but this is definitely an upgrade over the Blu-ray. Now, how big of an upgrade it is, I don't think it's as substantial as some of the other upgrades that I've seen recently, but it's still a very nice upgrade. You have a nice uptick in clarity, and you can see things a lot better. The black levels definitely enhance things and just add depth to the overall picture quality. And I thought it was a very good 4K. Was it a mind-blowing 4K? Did it just blow my doors off? And I'm like, oh my God, like this is night and day compared to the Blu-ray. No, it didn't, because I put that Blu-ray in after I watched the 4K, and I was like, you know what? This is actually a decent Blu-ray. So I can't really say that the 4K is like so much better than the Blu-ray, but it's definitely better. It has the HDR, it's enhancing those colors. So I did think this was a very nice 4K upgrade, and I think that if you own the Blu-ray and you're looking for a jump in picture quality with this 4K, you will get it, but it's not going to be the extreme jump that you see with some of the other restorations that we're getting. And I think also it's a more modern film, so the jump is always not going to be that substantial with a more modern film. Sometimes it can be. I'm looking at Drive from 2011 when Second Sight did that. It blew my mind how much better that looked than the Blu-ray release of it. But with this movie, guys, The Departed, it's a fine upgrade. It's a good 4K. Just some extreme clarity, like the detail in the faces, like it definitely has that. The Blu-ray is certainly a little bit flatter in presentation. So I like this 4K. It's a good 4K. I would recommend it based on that. Now, getting into the audio here, there is no jump in audio. It's using the same 5.1 DTS HD master audio that the Blu-ray has. So that some people could consider that a disappointment, but this really isn't an action movie. This is a crime drama with some moments of action in it. There are some shootout sequences, but they are kind of few and far between. So I don't think this is a movie that really requires that Dolby Atmos. It would have been nice. It would have been appreciated, but I don't think you need it. So I think the 5.1 is fine. I think Warner Brothers is good just keeping it the same. There's some people that's going to complain for sure, but I don't think it was needed for this release. So still sounded good. The 5.1, it worked for the Blu-ray, still works for the 4K. It sounds just fine. Now getting into this, the packaging right here, I'll probably cut to a little unboxing. I do like this Steelbook, especially now that I get the significance of the cover and the 3 characters involved. I actually think it's kind of clever, if that's what Warner Brothers means. Again, I'm getting this from somebody that DM'd me on Instagram to let me know, and then it all just kind of clicked for me. But it's a nice cover. I do like this Steelbook quite a bit. It's a nice matte finish. It feels nice in your hands when you're holding it. I like the matte finishes versus the glossy finishes because the glossy ones, they're so cold when you hold them, whereas the matte, it has a little bit more warmth. It's a little bit more inviting. I think the glossies can look very good at times, but I do like me a good matte finish. You flip it on the back, you got the rats right there. So that's pretty cool. Definitely significant in the movie. Let's open it up real quick. You do have a digital code, but you only have the 4K here. You do not have a Blu-ray, so I will probably end up keeping my Blu-ray in the collection just to have it, because I like having both copies, guys. I like having the Blu-ray, I like having the 4K, just in case I'm in here in my office and I want to watch The Departed, I can, because I don't have a 4K player in here. Now, looking on the inside right there, you got some images. You do have Marky Mark on the inside of the Steelbook at least, so that's cool. And all the special features, guys, are on the 4K, so don't worry about that. I know in the past, Warner Brothers has left off special features because they left out the Blu-ray. That's not the case here. All the special features that were present on the Blu-ray were ported over to this 4K, which leads me to another really cool thing about this release, and something I wasn't even aware of because they did a terrible job promoting this on the press release and on Blu-ray.com when they announced this, but there is actually a brand new special feature with this release. It's called Guilt and Betrayal, Looking into the Departed, and this has Scorsese in it and everything. And I was thinking to myself when I was watching this, I'm like, this cannot be older. This cannot be from the Blu-ray back in 2007, because Scorsese looks like he does now, like I've seen him in recent interviews. So that's a brand new making of documentary, just diving deeper into Scorsese's thought process when he was making the movie, some of his inspirations. It's a really good featurette, honestly. Like, it's better than the other two that I watched on here that were older. So I really enjoy that featurette. It kind of went into some of the inspiration, some of the films that Scorsese was inspired by when he made this movie from back in the 30s and the 40s. It was a really great featurette. It's about 15 minutes, but I was just happy that we got something brand new on this 4K release, because Warner Brothers is not really known for putting brand new special features on their new 4K. So it's a step in the right direction. I definitely appreciated it for sure. You also do have the other features that were on this Blu-ray back in 2007. The True Story of Whitey Bulger. You have Southie and The Departed, Crossing Criminal Cultures, and you have 9 additional scenes with introductions by Martin Scorsese. So all of that is archival materials that were present back on this Blu-ray release. And I don't think there were any audio commentaries here with this one either. So I don't know if Scorsese just doesn't do audio commentaries. I don't think I've ever heard of him doing one. But it would have been nice if we got some kind of an audio commentary with some film historians or some people that worked on this movie. I doubt they could get Leo or Mads or Mark Wahlberg at this point. Certainly not Jack Nicholson to come back and talk about this movie. But you could have got somebody to come back and talk about this film and this 4K release. So look, guys, overall, it's a good uptick in picture quality. I love that they included a new special feature here. I have to recommend this release because I do think it's really solid. This is a really good movie. I enjoy the movie for sure. It's just not my favorite Scorsese film. So I do recommend The Departed on 4K, whether you get the slipcover version or the Steelbook. I think it's a solid release. So thank you all so much for watching my review. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.